Hallo miteinander, I'm U.S.S, and this is something very unusual from me. I don't think I've ever given a hint that I care at all about Star Trek, but this is a Cadet's adventure, a flash choose-your-own-adventure game paying homage to it. Now I've got to make a disclaimer here. This game's frat humor can be a little gross. If you have no resistance to such nasty stuff, this video will not be for you. Here is our uncanny-looking protagonist. Basically, we're a minor expendable character on the Enterprise D, and we're just trying to get through our day and have a good time. Our actions always appear on the bottom of the screen. Some of them are good, others aren't. Starting a feud with First Officer William Riker and calling him a dirty dog is not one of the good ones. Landing in the brig is pretty much the same as dying. Let's try this again. This time we'll be nice to Riker. So, this game may not be the most representative fan work of Star Trek TNG. It is a parody, of course, and it can be a bit juvenile about it. But that was just perfect for me in my late teens. It is one of the games I remember most vividly from that era of endlessly browsing Newgrounds. Looking back at it, my taste has definitely changed, but there are still a few funny moments in it, trust me. We are doing a good job hitting on this fine lady, but uh-oh, it is Worf. He'll drop-kick our skull into the next galaxy. Anyone who has watched the show knows Worf has a tough hide, but a tender heart. We've got nothing to fear from this big teddy bear. Oh, remember that episode of TNG where Worf decapitated this random cadet and flushed his head out the airlock? Unfortunately, everyone's a psychopath in this reimagination. Guess we'll need to try once more. Doing a mistake like that makes you restart the game from scratch, which is more tedious than anything. There is at least some logic to what makes a good or bad choice. Rudeness is pretty much always wrong. Staying polite and not too daring usually works. Usually. And here's another interesting character from the show, Geordi Laforge. I don't think it's much of a spoiler if I tell you that Jeremy Lokken, the maker of this game, has completely twisted his personality. Whatever may be wrong with him, at least he's happy with us right now. Well, this is the moment that made me the most unsure if I really wanted to show this to you. Little needs to be said about the encounter itself, but know that it is a very significant scene. It has the most impact on your ending. Basically, there are 3 branches the story can split into. We could take the standard route without any equipment, or load up on hard drugs, or arm ourselves with a phaser. This is also one of the few scenes where you cannot die, even if you pick the dumbest choice. We'll be taking the phaser. It sounds the most valuable and useful, I'd say. I like the phaser route. And here is Deanna Troi. Now, a very jealous Riker has warned us about getting too friendly with her. The truth is, you're kind of forced to get a little more than friendly with her. Winning her affection is the main objective of the game. She's not really making this hard for us so far. We've got a date. Let's hope this madhouse of a spaceship doesn't slaughter us until then. Now, remember when we became friends with Geordi and accepted his invitation? Turns out that being nice isn't always smart. There is a unique death scene here, and I don't want to show it to you. It's where I draw the line. You should be able to deduce Geordi's and Data's awful intentions here. The solution is to say, I love you. That's actually really funny to me. One of the better jokes of the game. Just like Frankie said, you spoil it all by saying something stupid like, I love you. This was not the context he was thinking of. This encounter looks harmless enough. It looks like you can trade your equipment here, but don't do it. This guy's an assassin, and he murders Captain Picard with whatever you give him. One of the sneakiest ways this game can screw you over, for sure. Moving on, this is a phaser-specific event. It looks unlikely that we can avoid Worf's wrath here, but fortunately, Jeremy Lokken's version of him is not the sharpest tool in the shed. We just tell him a flimsy lie, and he buys it. I actually always liked Worf, one of my favorites in TNG. Michael Dorn's a great voice actor as well. Remember I Am Weasel from the Cow and Chicken spin-off? That was him too. Okay, this is the finale. We're just getting to know Deanna as Riker steps in. He's the main antagonist if you couldn't tell, and he's not given a good image. To quote, he did not give us access to her. What a macho slimeball. What are we going to do about him? Well, it all depends on the route you've chosen. We took many risks. To bring an illegal phaser with us would be a shame to not use it. We melt Riker's face. Totally typical for the series, right? You'd think this would have harsh consequences. Apparently though, everyone on the ship despised Riker, and we're congratulated. Poor Riker, I feel he was never a fan favorite. When we were young, me and my sister often watched TNG together, and we hated the character. Anyways, we've won, everybody's happy, and no one's going to scold Miss Troi for being out of uniform. Absolutely no one. We should play the game some more. With these choose-your-own-adventure games, you always want to discover alternative solutions and also what else you can do wrong. We'll get past everything we've already seen extra quickly. In the meantime, I want to tell you how I rediscovered this game. It was about 2 years ago, during the Let's Play Bingo competition I took part in at the Socks Make People Sexy forum. I wanted to record it under the theme Adventure Game for week 2. I remembered the game as funny and raunchy, and somehow a lot less gross. I lost confidence about it, worrying the judges may hate it and give me a bad score. So I picked Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis over it in the end. A Cadet's adventure may have gone out of sight back then, but it never truly got out of mind. So that's why you're seeing it right now. Okay, new content incoming. By the way, we shushed Geordi away earlier, so the holodeck scene will get skipped. This event's easy. Don't boast to Riker about the date. We know he is the villain, and he will ruin us if we let him know any more about what is going on than he needs to. As easy as it was to fool Riker, the next problem killed me a few times. Data is trying to turn us into a scapegoat for his mischief. He will threaten us with a brig if we protest, but believe it or not, defying him now is the way to go. As soon as Worf appears, I don't think there's an option to save yourself anymore. Boy, Data also got pretty butchered in this game. He was another favorite of mine. It's astounding how well Brent Spiner handled the inhuman, but sometimes especially human android character. Well now, a green female alien is hitting on us. Everyone who's ever heard of the great Captain Kirk knows what the proper etiquette is in such an event. Yup, let's get married. There has never been a case where a game designer used the prospect of sex to lure the player into a trap. No sir, that would be ludicrous. Giving our juice away has to be the best idea ever, right? In all seriousness, no one should fall for this one, but the result of doing so anyway has to be among the funniest of what this game can offer. All of these are our children. We may have violated the Prime Directive, but we sure as hell succeeded in our reproductive duty. There is no way to avoid a game over at this point. Big surprise. No one wants to see what your sperm can do. Those are some words of wisdom. Really felt like you needed to see this death. We'll get back to where we were super quickly. In the meantime, some more miscellaneous info. A Cadet's Adventure 2 exists. It's subtitled The Wrath of Riker.
Hi there.
If this game amused you, but you also feel like you've seen too much of it already to bother, you might want to check that one out. Apart from that, Jeremy Lokken made the game Drinking with Starfleet and a few other Star Trek TNG animations, all of them parodies of a similar kind. Again, we'll be taking the itemless route, this time without having ourselves seduced by an actress covered in paint. I mean an alien. Here's Riker again. I always felt like the character was a remnant of Kirk, but in a setting where he isn't captain anymore, or really that relevant or interesting. The actor Jonathan Frakes, though, seems pretty cool. I really liked his playful smarminess in Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. He also voiced Xanatos in Disney's Gargoyles, another cool character, who in appearance does remind you a little of Frakes. We've arrived at the finale again, but this time without the firepower of a Type 2 phaser. We must figure out a less murderous way to repel Riker.
I know what I want.
You've gotta love the danger music from the original series in the background. So campy. I don't think it was ever used in TNG, but I might be wrong. About our predicament, turns out that Riker is a complete and total wimp. All it takes to shatter his world is to smear some ice cream into his beard. The option to slap him in the face also works, but I find this one way funnier. It's just ice cream. All you need to do is wash it out. Deanna Troi has been saved once again. Marina Sirtis, by the way, was also in Gargoyles as Demona. Would be unfair to mention Frakes in that tangent, and her not at all. I'd love to have you throw chocolate on me like you did with Riker. I think you've got the idea of this game now after 2 endings. I hope I didn't come off as too negative about it. It's occasionally distasteful, yes, but there are some funny bits in there. I'm Gesh86, this was Star Trek, a Cadet's Adventure. Bis bald!